Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I'm going to talk to you about the biggest enemy of the opening pitch. Really, really important. So the biggest enemy of the opening pitch, in my opinion, is the reason that you walk into the business. The reason that you walk into the business. This is so important. Now, I want to explain something that I'm actually working on this today, and it's been a little bit challenging for me, but I'm working on it for the Jumpstart program. As part of the Jumpstart program, I'm actually going to give you word for word, what do you call it, like a script or like a transcript, I guess, of my conversations with merchants the first time I ever walk into their business. And so I'm working on that today. And so some of it I'm doing by memory. Some of it I'm going to try to get a little recorder in my pocket. And of course, I'm not legally, I won't be able to use the recordings, but I can kind of type up a transcript as long as I get rid of the details. So, but I want to tell you in the Jumpstart program, I'm going to give you these really specific things, but let me kind of just give you an overview summary of what I'm talking about as far as the reason that you walk into a business. Most salespeople walk into the business, and when they walk into the business, their goal is basically to make a sale. So you have to understand the reality. And this is funny because I think a lot of trainers, it's been a long time since they were out in the field selling. And I'm actually out here selling to make sure that I'm staying fresh and that I understand the reality. And the reality of selling a small business owner is that when you walk into the business, the worst thing that business owner can think is that you're there to sell them something, right? You know, they can't think that. If they think that, you're dead in the water really before you even begin. So if you just walk right up to the counter and you start an opening pitch, you're not going to get very far because the business owner understands that you are there to sell them. So one of the things that I've kind of remembered from back when I started in merchant services and was successful building a portfolio 5-6 years ago is that you always have to have a reason for walking into the business. You always have to have a reason, okay? And that's really what you start with before you get into your opening pitch. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So I'm about to walk into a business over here, and it's like they sell like side-by-sides, four-wheelers, that kind of thing. Really big business. And when I walk in there, my reason for walking in is I'm going to walk in and say, I drive by here all the time. My wife and I just moved up the road here. We're about 10 minutes from you guys. And I've driven by here now several times, never even knew you guys were here. How long have you been in business? And I'm going to just ask them a couple questions. So they're going to think that the reason I walked in was to shop there and to find out more about their business. Once I've established that reason with them, then I'm going to segue into, well, hey, really, since I stopped by here, let me ask you a question. Who are you guys using right now to do your credit card processing? Because I've actually got a credit card processing company downtown here in Altoona, and I'd love to at least, talk to you guys a little bit about that. Who are you using right now? So I'm able to transition that conversation into merchant services because my reason for walking in really didn't have anything to do with sales. I was just curious about why they were there. And curiosity is really got to be your kind of reason for walking into the business every time. It's almost always a curiosity thing. So that's how I present it. So I'll be in like a mini mall and I walk into every business in the mini mall, but every single one I walk into, I say the same thing. I say, hey, how you guys doing today? You know what? I was just driving by and I've got a business actually in downtown Altoona. I realized that I've never walked into any of the businesses out here in this mini mall. And I actually have a lot of clients out here in the area, and I just kind of want to stop by and introduce myself, hand you my business card, and, talk to you a little bit about my business and see what you guys do here. And so, see, I'm starting out with, I was just driving by, I was curious, is kind of the idea. And so the biggest enemy of the opening pitch is actually getting right to the opening pitch. You can't do that. When you walk in, and the thing is funny is, even before the reason that you walk in, even one step back from there, you've got to start with your friendly, hey, how you doing today? There's a couple things that have to go before the opening. So the biggest enemy of the opening pitch is actually going right into the opening pitch. When you walk into a business, take like 10 seconds or so to figure out what is your reason for walking into that business. And it better not be to give them an opening pitch. It better be something about how, you've driven by there many times, you were curious about their business and how long they've been there and what they do and, how big they were. You just kind of want to come in, and then you're going to segue into, I'm also a local business owner. And so I've tried to introduce myself to as many business owners as possible. Of course, I'm trying to network, but I've never walked in here before. And so it's that idea of the reason you're walking in. Again, it could be when I go down into Tyrone, Pennsylvania. one of the things I'm going to use that I used to use all the time, which is really successful, is a survey. Surveys are an awesome reason to walk into a business. So I use those all the time. So when I go down there, I'm going to say, hey, my name is James Shepard, and my business partner and I have an office down in Altoona, and we're thinking about doing business in Tyrone. And so I'm kind of just going through today doing an informal survey, I guess you could call it. I just had a couple questions for you. Do you have like 2 or 3 minutes to help me out? I just have a couple questions so that my partner and I can kind of figure out if Tyrone would be a good place for us to try to do some business. Business owners love that. They love that. Usually they're very enthusiastic to answer your questions. And of course, your first question is what? Who are you using for credit card processing, right? You can also ask some questions like, does that company have a local representative here in the area already, or do you have to deal with them over the phone? Because small business owners hate working over the phone, right? So, you can ask them these questions that kind of lead them into, their interest level. And then at that point, you could say, well, once you're done with the survey, you could say, well, boy, I really appreciate your time today. You know what I would really like to do for you, since I'm going to be up here doing the survey thing for a little while, would you mind if I gave you a bid on your credit card processing? I mean, you brought up a couple things there about the company you have now and some concerns you have. How about I give you a bid on it? And let's see if maybe my partner and I can help you out. We're right here in Altoona. So I'm going to use that survey as my reason for walking in. But the biggest enemy to the opening pitch is going right into the opening pitch without, first of all, greeting whoever you walk in to meet, giving them a warm, friendly greeting. Hey, how you doing today? Or if you're in my area, it's, hey, how y'all doing today? Because y'all is a word in Pennsylvania. It's only in Pennsylvania and a few other states, right? So, but you got to have that friendly greeting, and then also you got to give them a reason why you're at the business. And again, not to sell them. You're there out of something else. Curiosity, a survey, you just moved and you're right there in the area. You've driven by several times, whatever it is. You have got somebody told you about this business, whatever it is, you've got to have a reason. Then you're going to segue into that opening kind of presentation pitch, asking them about their business, and asking them who they use for credit card processing. So I hope that was a help to you today. It really has actually helped me to remember it from a few years ago. My day's going a little better today. So anyway, I'm giving myself tips that are helping me, and I hope they're helping you as well. So my name is James Shepard. Thanks so much for your time. Hope you have a great day out in the field today.